from the 707. Now that Domas is no longer number 10, I no longer have to choose between him and Mike Bibby as my favorite number 10 king.
Ooh,
that's a W. That's a great pull.
It's a strong
great
point.
pull. 707. As we get into Domas, and a little bit later in the show, 12 o'clock, we will have Sean Cunningham, who will give us more on Domantas Sabonis from that outstanding interview that he did. We will also get a breakdown because Sean was right there on the front lines of the Sasha news about the news, the report on the report. So you won't want to miss any of that. But let's get to Sabonis and why he decided to change his name and why it was his number and why it's so important to him.
Because of him, I fell in love with the game because of him. The number's been our number throughout the family, all my siblings, everyone. And yeah, ever since I got traded here, like I said, I've loved it. Everyone's made me feel welcome and home, and I really want to make this my home and stay here for a long time. And I want to build my legacy. I want to honor my dad's legacy and keeping that number running in the family. I feel comfy here. It was something we talked about with my contract extension, and it just feels right. It feels right. I'm excited. My daughter's name is 11. It's a tribute to her too. I'll be wedding her as well. And it's just a really exciting time for my family and how much this means to all of us.
Well, Chris, it seems like he's all in.
Yeah.
And I know somebody on the text line is saying, well, he's in Napa, not Sacramento. Stop it.
Okay.
Just stop. You really want to do that?
Yeah.
You really want to do that, 916?
I'll gladly concede him living in Sacramento.
Yeah, you really want to do that on a day like today? Come on now. So Domantas Sabonis, he talks about wanting really to just build his legacy here. Yeah. He's changing his number to what his father had, Arvydas Sabonis. So I think it's a great day for the Sacramento Kings, and how many calls and texts and Sac Chat that we get, Chris, that are a bit pessimistic. Nobody wants to stay here. Right. Nobody wants this. Nobody wants that. And you have a guy who, hey, yes, you traded for him, but this is the model when you trade for somebody, right? You trade for somebody and they actually want, you extend them, they want to stay, and they're happy. So many times you're worried, hey, if we trade for this person, they might not want to be here, and where, it's going to look bad because we lost these assets. And I would call on a day like today, and we deal with national media when they talk about Tyrese Halliburton and what the Kings could have had. I think this is a big win for the Kings. And look, tiny victories when it's during the off season. And I know we have to get ready for the actual off season with Malik and everything like that. But on a day like today, with everything that's been going on this season so far, this off season with Sasha and with Mike Brown, this is just sometimes, people like Ted Lasso. It's just a feel-good story.
He just changed his number. You're acting like he signed his contract today.
Well, but I'm saying.
He changed his number from 10 to 11.
But it's the way he's talking about it.
Single digit.
It's the way he's talking about it.
No, I'm just messing with you. Yeah, no, I mean, it's great. It's always great to hear your players, especially like you said, here in Sacramento, we are a very paranoid bunch, and especially about, hey, we need you to like us. And that's all it takes. If you like us, we'll like you. And,
yes.
And there's always a hesitation, especially, this offseason. We're talking about trading for guys like Brandon Ingram, and Brandon Ingram's on a 1-year deal. And then would he want to sign moving forward? I think there's a lot of people who are afraid. Yeah, like you said, if the Kings make a move, it doesn't even have to be for Brandon Ingram. Alex Caruso, anybody, any level of player, the fear is always, are they even going to like it here? Are they going to trash the city when they're gone? And Domantas Sabonis, add him to the list of players like Chris Webber who have been traded here, and we don't know if Sabonis felt bad about living in Sacramento or had any negative feelings towards it. He does live in Napa, but
right. I was gonna say, he did leave Indiana.
Yeah,
no disrespect,
he was in OKC before.
And he was in OKC, so he's used to it at the very least.
Yeah, and he went to Gonzaga too.
Yes,
so, it's not like he's been in Manhattan and Chicago, and, Miami his entire career. But it's just great to hear that the organization's been great to him, and for the Kings have been incredibly successful with him as well. So great to hear that everything's all the things are working in the right direction, and definitely, it's great to hear that Sabonis wants to be here for the remainder. I don't think he exactly said for the remainder of his career, but wants to be here a long time. He signed for next 3 or 4 seasons, and I definitely think this is going to be a nice refresh. Definitely when you get a new number, you feel a little different for sure. Everything just kind of is mental at that point. And, I think if it makes him feel comfortable, then I'm all for it. And, I'm sure the Kings will have, or NBA.com will have some sort of buyback program with their jerseys. And we can get a lot of 11s out there, because I didn't even think about, the fact that, we had Mike Bibby at number 10, and I've always complained about Mike Bibby's number not being retired. And maybe this is a step closer to that becoming a reality. And Bob Davies, obviously, shout out Bob Davies and his family. I think it's just his family that agreed to let Sabonis take 11.
And you have some stats and bio on Bob Davies. How often do you think numbers get unretired? Is that a typical thing?
Probably not often. I guess like Mariano Rivera got to wear 42 after they retired that number. I think LeBron might have gotten somebody in Miami to give him number 6 or something like that. I think it happens. I don't think it's like an anomaly, but I don't think it happens super often. I think it's kind of like Sabonis. Like, I think you have to have a good reason for it. Like, it can't just be, but man, like, I was always number 12.
Right. If his pops wasn't number 11,
exactly,
he probably doesn't even bother asking.
Yeah, even if it's just, but my daughter's named 11. It's like, you probably should have thought of that.
Well, sure.
But yeah,
put all the chips in the table. It was the pops. If it wasn't for pops, it just doesn't happen.
Yes, absolutely. And his pops is an all-time great. So shout out the Sabonis family as well. But yeah, Bob Davies, knew absolutely nothing about him. His number has been retired here in Sacramento for a while, and I don't know how many Sacramento Kings fans are actually aware of Bob Davies. He was a member of the 1951 championship team in Rochester, the only title that the Sacramento Kings organization holds. He was a 4-time All-Star, and he is also an NBA or basketball, I should say, Hall of Famer. He's in the Naismith Hall of Fame, and if you look at his numbers, it's really nothing special. I mean, I know it was a different time, but he was really a 15.5 assist guy for a majority of his career. He played from age 29 to 35. No idea why he played, so late into his basketball career, but I'm sure there was, who knows? I'm sure there was some war or something that was going on. And then, just to read Bob Davies' Hall of Fame bio. Honored as the 6th greatest player in the first half century by Sport Magazine in 1970, Bob Davies stunned and amazed opponents with his deceptive sleight of hand ball handling. Nicknamed the Harrisburg Houdini, Davies made the extraordinary look simple. He often used behind the back, through the leg, and over the head ball maneuvers to not show off, but to produce results. With his exciting repertoire of moves, Davies led Seton Hall to 43 consecutive victories from 1939 to 1941. And here it is. After a stint in the military, Davies brought his magic touch to the professional level, playing 2 seasons in the ABL, the American Basketball League, before embarking on a 10-year career with the Rochester Royals of the NBL, the National Basketball League, and the Basketball Association of America, and then the NBA. Where he captured 2 titles in 1946 and 1951. Davies is considered one of the finest guards. And I feel like I should read that in an old time. Davies is considered one of the finest guards in basketball history, an innovative playmaker and floor general.
Well, I think you went too far back now.
It was a little veiny.
Oh, yes.
You think
Davies is considered one of the finest guards in basketball history.
He's cooking, though. I'm watching this. He's cooking. He is cooking, though.
He's cooking a bunch of milkmen and stuff.
He's going behind the back and over his head. He's kind of nice.
Are you calling him maybe the Harrisburg Houdini?
Yes.
Is that aptly titled?
Yes.
Okay. He's a little J-Will in him, maybe.
That's what I'm
Pete Maravich.
J-Will probably fired this
First
up.
off, wait. You're watching highlights?
Mm-hmm.
How are you watching? There's highlights of. We can't get
Wilt black and white.
Again, I kindly ask America, can we get footage of Wilt Chamberlain's 100-point game?
There it is.
How are we watching Bob Davies versus Bob Cousy? But I can't get 5 minutes of Wilt's 100-point game. What are we doing?
And it's packed in there, too. It's packed in there too.
Rochester was lit, man.
Yeah.
You know, it's just in the Sacramento organization DNA, I guess. But shout out Bob Davies.
Yes.
Shout out Domas. Shout out 11. Shout out Arvidas as well.
There you go. Well, great for Domas on a Friday. Some good news to feel good on this Friday, and we will get even more detail from Sean Cunningham of Fox 40 when he joins us. Coming up next, though, a quarterback who we're not sure how good he actually is gets the bag. What does that mean for Brock Purdy? Stiles and Watkins, Sactown Sports.